Welcome back, everybody, to a brand new episode of the podcast. We got such a great show for today. But before we get to our comedian of the afternoon, I would like to say big thanks to our presenting sponsor, Terrapin Care Station. These guys support us. We support them. They have 5 fantastic locations, 4 of which in Colorado already, 2 in Boulder, 1 in Denver, 1 in Pennsylvania. Treat yourself. Go get yourself some of the best cannabis extracts and edibles for the price. They got the whole gamut. They even have ounces for like $90. It's awesome. So make sure you go treat yourself over at Terrapin Care Station. On the episode today, we have Ester Steinberg. So pumped to have her here. Esther and I, as you're going to find out, we run a show together out here in LA. She just put out an album. She just recorded a special. She's doing stuff, and I'm excited to have her here. So without further ado, let's get into the episode. Please help me welcome the very funny Ester Steinberg.
I want to get better at makeup because I got fat and now I want to learn how to contour.
What is contouring?
Is that a fucking joke?
No, but I don't like what is contouring?
I'm just joking.
What is
contouring? It became popular about 10 years ago. It used to be something that only drag queens did. And now it's extremely common thanks to like Kim Kardashian. But basically it's like you take brown and you make a mark on your cheek to then show like you're so hollow and skinny. You're literally creating
you're drawing a cheek suck.
You're drawing the cheek suck. You're making your forehead smaller. You're basically using like very artistic tools. The problem is everyone does it wrong, including myself. And so only like supermodels look good with contour. And then the rest of us just look like we have brown stripes on our face.
That's a tough, I feel like that's a tough thing to practice. You know what I mean? Because it's like if it takes that long to get good at it, then it's just going to look bad for a while and you have to deal with it, I guess. But
there we go.
It's kind of like playing
That's
golf.
What I decided to do in quarantine, but that's one of the things I want to do is get good at contour.
I feel like if I could get some contour in these cheeks, you know, I might or in my ab, like if I could contour that thing up, I feel like
and then you'd be addicted to it. That's the problem.
I
wanted to get my lips done just to see, because everyone has these like really inflated, like big juicy lips. And I'm like, what if I got mine done? And Noah, my husband, he said, no, because then you're not going to think you're pretty without it. And you are pretty without it.
I would agree. That was smart on him.
I was like, tell me more. You think I'm pretty? You think I'm pretty now? Wait till I have fucking lips.
How long do lips last, though? Because it's like one of those things where it only lasts a couple months and then you're stuck forever. You got to keep doing it.
3 months or something. And then you need to like go back and spend like $800 or $900 to like plump it up again.
Holy shit.
And they put needles in your...
I think Noah's right for many reasons. 1, you don't need it. 2, I don't think I'd want that. Getting needles in my lips? It's bad enough to bite a lip, let alone get just a solid needle in your lip.
I feel like women like needles.
Why is that?
The surgeries and the Botox, like women just love the pain. Like the more pain, the better they like. There's a facial called the vampire facial where they like prick you with your blood and then take your blood and then mix it up and then like give you a facial with your own plasma.
Whoa.
I can send you photos.
What is this called?
Vampire facial.
It's literally called vampire facial?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like not cheap. And you like have blood all over your face. I'd love to talk to you about this stuff because I do feel like I'm always like blowing your mind on like the beauty standards, and you're like, wait, what?
Well, like I think you're making stuff up because half the time I can't tell when you're joking with me or not because you're able to keep like to hold it when you are fucking with me. So I don't know if you're like, I could see you saying some shit and me being
I
like, that's wild. And you're like, I'm fucking joking, Brent.
think when I'm kidding, I try to sound really serious, and when I'm serious, I kind of sound like I'm joking.
It's hard to read.
And I'm like, oh, that's like a vampire facial. Girls love needles. And you're like, ha ha ha. Am I going to get canceled if I say something wrong?
The first thing I thought of when you said girls love needles was I wonder what the proportion of male to female heroin users are. That was the first thing I thought of. I don't know why, but that was the first thing I thought of.
I've dated a bunch of ex-heroin addicts.
Have you?
Yeah, I think I liked that they were addicts, and now I can like try to fix them and stuff. And then also they're like recovered, so they've done like some work on themselves, and I'm like,
So you know it's
oh,
possible for them to
they were,
change.
yeah, they're recovered. And I don't know, I've always thought it was like a coincidence, but
I think you have a type that you like. Although Noah doesn't fit that type because
no,
he
and that's why
didn't
he's
need to.
right for me, because he goes against the type of like addict who's good, who's like, looking for a new drug.
Sure. God. Yeah, I think his only drug that you needed to change him on is craps. That's about it. He tried to teach me craps and it was a slaughtering on my
Really?
well, it wasn't good. I lost $300 very fast.
Are you at a parent's house?
No, this is my house in Los Angeles.
No.
Yeah. I got my wine. I got my cameras. I got
You look like you're 70 years old.
me
Not
currently right
your
now.
face, but just your setup is very like only people over 60 have a desktop.
Like a computer desktop?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got two of them next to each other.
Okay, that gets you back. If you have two of them, that gets you back to 42.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, then how about all these screens over here, though? Look at all these. Look at all this. I got 3
For
screens over here.
I just don't understand why you need so many screens for pornography.
Oh, Esther, I have a special computer just for pornography.
Are you using an actual camera?
So when I went to buy a webcam, capture cards were all sold out, and then when I went back to buy capture cards, they're like triple the price. So no, I'm using a webcam that I bought, but I got good lighting and stuff around me, so it looks better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The amount of computers you can buy instead of having a child.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of good. In fact, I'm thinking about mounting this TV on the wall. This is my dining room, technically, of my apartment that I turn into my office. So I'm thinking about mounting a TV
Jesus.
in my dining room, then mounting another TV in my living room. It's a lot. And no kids that were mine, at least. None of
Oy
those.
vey vey.
Well, Esther, how have you been with your new baby? It's you have a precious little baby, and you're in New York right now, and I feel like that would be tough.
I'm finally getting the attention from a Jewish man I've always wanted, and that's my son. He's really cool. I like him. I miss my old life, and that's the weird. There's like this mind fuck trickiness to like whether there's a pandemic or not, your life is going to change because you're a parent,
Sure.
specifically a mother. I'm a mom. I take on the female parental roles. And then there is the pandemic.
Yeah,
so it's like, oh, I can't leave my house because of my baby. Or maybe it's the pandemic. Who knows? But I
right.
can't leave my house and I can't do shows. And I'm like, oh, it's because I have a kid. No, it's not. It's because there's a pandemic and you have a kid.
So it's a real confusing pull as to like which Like, because normally if there
Which
wasn't
one is
pandemic,
making my life suck?
right,
We don't know.
right.
One,
Where can
both.
I put this animosity towards?
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to blame a baby for a global pandemic. I will say that. I'm just like, you're the reason I can't work. Oh, by the way, no baby and no pandemic. Who to blame for me not working? Comedy Central.
Of course.
It was always gonna be. It was always gonna be someone.
Sure, if it's not Comedy Central, it's Fallon. You know, there are people in line that are just in the way.
Trying to make me not work.
That's true. That's true. I felt that way too. Uh,
But the baby's really, we have a good baby, but it's still a baby.
sure.
So people, yeah, no matter what, babies are a lot of work, but he's being really cute. He's like napping 2 feet away from me.
That's great.
Um,
Is it what
so
you expected?
mm,
Like because
kind
obviously
of.
you would have expected this is gonna be hard. This is gonna be real hard.
It's
It
kind of what I expected because I was also like, I can kind of like, I'm creative. Like, I can make things work. I'm going to be like
sure.
a cool mom. And like, I am a cool mom. I hit the vape pen when he goes to bed.
There you
Like,
go.
and also when he wakes up and during lunchtime.
Of course.
So,
You got to keep that even keel. You got to stay on their level.
am I smoking too much weed? I don't know. I was sober for like
10
14 months
months?
or
Oh,
something.
wow. Wow.
Because I was sober throughout the pregnancy and then I was sober while I was breastfeeding.
Wow.
And so now I just became a non-sober person and it's so funny. I love substances and I like Noah had a friend come over and he brought beers, which I'm not even a beer person. Great, he's calling. And I like chugged it. Like I was just
This is
like, "Is
so
this
good.
beer?" Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck's this?" Okay, all right. I guess we're getting the party started. Like anything anyone brings, anything in the fridge. Like I used to drink kombucha, hoping to get a buzz from it when I was breastfeeding,
On the 0.8% alcohol that's
and
in
I
the.
did feel it. If you like, you know,
If you've been really sober for a while, I'm sure you would.
yeah, I have a friend who's like sober, recovered addict, and she pops those kombuchas knowing good and well
It's
what
gotta.
she's doing.
She's
She's
got it.
always
She
like, "Will
now
you
has
bring me a kombucha?" And there's a specific brand, and I'm like, "You're falling off the wagon."
healthy. I mean, in a healthy way, but still, you're gonna put too many probiotics in you.
Yeah. She wants the buzz. There's a little bit of alcohol in
Yeah.
that booch. I think you have
There,
to be 21 to buy it.
there's a place in Denver, a brewery that's doing that makes alcoholic kombucha, like a thoroughly alcoholic, like it's like 5% alcohol.
And you can always count on Denver to do that.
Right, of
They're
course.
like, "Do you want us to take something kind of boring and make it fun? Well, then come to Denver. We're wholesome.
There's gonna
We're
be a.
blue in a red state."
Yeah, right. We are the swing of the swing state. Is Colorado or is Denver? I'm surprised there's not like a kombucha cannabis infused edible.
I'm sure there is. And now, yeah, no, Denver's like a very lovely place. It was snowing a couple days ago in Denver. I don't live
Yes, it
there.
was. It went from like 100 degrees to 24 degrees and then back up. I got a lot of pictures. It was, I mean, it's been completely cloudy here with just smoke for the past
Are
3
you
days here in
serious?
LA. Yeah.
That many potheads?
Yep. No one's doing anything. The whole town shut down. Everyone's just blowing their smoke in the air.
And wait, it really is just smoke in the air and
Yeah.
just it's like disgusting
It's
orange.
gross. Yeah. Like the whole I'll wake up and I'll look out my window and it's just a glow. Like you can tell it's glowing. It looks like the sun's coming through a softbox. It's really weird.
And do you think that like prices of houses are gonna go down?
I sure hope so because I know that I want to get one out here. But I feel like so many people know that prices of houses are going to go down that they're just buying them up
It's
anyway.
gonna go up
Yeah,
because
which
they
is
think it's gonna
frustrating.
go down.
Right.
Jesus.
It's really frustrating.
Ugh, LA is in such a horrible place, and I can't wait to move back.
I know. I don't want to leave. I mean, everyone's like, "Why aren't you just in Denver?" I'm like, "Cause I like it out here. I'm in my 86-year-old fucking grandma's living room right now.
You are.
Apparently,
You're in your grandpa pad.
it's my GPP. Uh,
Oy. With multiple keyboards.
oh,
You would think that they could invent one keyboard that, transfers to whatever computer you're looking at, and then you could just be part robot.
well, that's coming. That's with all this
Really?
5G installation, that they have out
So
there
that you
now.
could just look at something and then
Yeah.
it starts to like read your mind and then order whatever you're thinking about on Amazon.
That's going to be a problem
Yeah.
because then I'm going to have too much stuff coming up on my doorstep. It's like, how did you know I wanted another vacuum? I have 3. Why are we doing this?
It's bad.
Yeah,
I've been ordering.
sorry, my
Oh,
cat.
you're yelling at your cat?
Yeah, he's crawling into the
Somebody's
fucking
so
fireplace.
tough to have like a lot of responsibility and stuff.
Can you imagine if you had an animal and a child?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that.
I've I had a couple of people who were dog moms who are now real moms, like look me in the eyes and tell me that like anyone who calls themselves a dog mom is like a fucking joke. It's like it absolutely is not the same. And I'm like, thank you. Like all I'm looking for is for someone to like throw me a bone, a dog bone, and be like, it's not the same. Cause everyone I know who has a dog is like, it's just like being a mom.
Like, no, it's not even like being a mom. If your dog dies, no one comes knocking on your door, you know?
Yeah, like doesn't matter how many drugs you do, child services isn't gonna like come and take your dog away.
There's no puppy services, some puppy
Yeah, they
protection.
encourage you to do drugs around your dog.
Man. Well, I'm glad that it's not too crazy with a baby and a pandemic. I'm sure
The
it's not.
worst part is the husband
Why?
because he's hungry and I can't keep burritos in the house. Like I put like 30 burritos, frozen Amy burritos, like burritos from he's just constantly hungry. And like I'm supposed to like whip up a meal for him. He's working and working from home. So like the writer's room is just in the apartment. There's only 2 bedrooms. One of them's for
The-
the little one.
You're right.
And I'm just kind of for a while I was really upset that I said to him that I feel like my job is to just like disappear all day.
Oh, that's not
Yeah.
fun.
And then I was like, so then I went on Amazon. Shout out to Amazon. They're a small business looking for business. And
I
I
want
went
my
on
5% back on American Express.
yeah, I went on Amazon and they had no desks. Like every single desk was taken
Oh, I thought you
and
were gonna look
bought.
for a new husband on Amazon. I thought that's where it was going. I was like,
No,
let me.
Amazon actually employs my husband. So
Yeah, that's true. I forgot.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Um and then so I finally like I scoured Amazon like I was on the Matrix just trying to like I was just typing away and getting like very hectic like we must find a desk and like go in like in real time they were just getting sold out and like the earliest
Wow.
available was like November and I was like no he needs a desk. It's so then finally I found one cuz I'm a genius and now it's in the bedroom so now we're going to like create a situation where he's working in the bedroom and then I can be outside. But
Oh,
for a
good.
couple of weeks he was working and I just was like getting told to like pick up burritos from Chipotle and be gone and don't let the baby scream.
Sure. Is he in like a video writer's room or is
Well,
it?
they're doing Zoom.
Oh, really? Ouch. Yeah.
And I think like writers are so spoiled. Like when you're in the writer's room, he had back when the world wasn't over, he had a whole office to himself with a door and then a couch. And then he had a writer's room that everyone like meets in.
Yeah.
And then assistants would be like, would you like what would you like for lunch? And then hand them a fucking menu to be like, you know what, I'll do create your own salad.
So
I
instead,
want
you're that
yellow
assistant
peppers.
now, basically.
Can I get yellow peppers? Yeah, now I'm like taking the orders. I'm like,
I don't like this.
did you want yellow peppers? Go fuck yourself.
Well, I'm glad you got him in the bedroom. I'm glad you got him in the bedroom.
Problem solved. Easy peasy, problem solved. We got a desk, and now life is a dream. But I really miss last year.
Yeah, I bet.
Last year, this time I was actually I got married. So, and you took over the band. You became the front man of a horn section.
I was having a good time. I love weddings. I'm a big wedding fan.
Yeah.
It's my
How many
favorite.
have you been to?
I've been to pretty much every one of my friends' weddings. They're like, well, we got to invite this guy. I'm rarely, yeah, all three of them. I'm rarely in the wedding party, but I am always invited and put with a really fun table.
You're not in the wedding party, but you're in the wedding party.
Yeah.
I just got a text that said, "Want anything from Chipotle?" Oh, it looks like someone got the memo.
I was gonna say,
yes.
you answer. You're like, yeah, I'd love to get this. He goes, cool. I want this. Just let me know when you get it. And that'd be so.
I'm like,
that'd be so mean.
And now I'm gonna say, is there yellow peppers? He's gonna say, no, Chipotle doesn't have yellow peppers.
They only have red and green.
And then I'm gonna say, then find it for me.
You're the assistant.
I want to put him on a. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be anyone's assistant. I'm already my child's slave.
Yeah, and it's gonna stay that way for another 5 years at least.
Yeah, the other day someone was like, when is the kids gonna start doing things themselves? And Noah goes, hopefully when after he's 18. And I was like, in a couple months. And we like said it at the same time.
Noah, you're gonna have to change up that expectation plan a little bit. We might have to shorten that down to at least.
I woke up this morning and fed him, and usually just like put him back to sleep. Like 7 a.m., wake up, give him like 12 ounces, and then he goes back to sleep. He wasn't sleeping. He was screaming. And so I went in there and I gave him a little bit more milk, and I'm like, chill out. And as I was telling him that, I like felt like a wetness on my hand. And I was like, what's this? And it was poop. And then I wake up and like turn the light on, and there was just poop all over the place. Like as if he wasn't even wearing a diaper. He was wearing a diaper.
Did he just like, what happened? Did he fill it, or did Noah do it?
I don't know.
He didn't put it on right?
I don't know. He just like, sometimes he poops and it makes it into the diaper, and sometimes he poops and it just gets everywhere. And I'm like, I really don't understand this, but I had to undress him, and I'm like holding his legs so that the poop doesn't go anywhere, and then wiping it down, and then his actual onesie was like covered in poop. And then I went to the sink to like wipe that off, and I'm like, ugh. And then I clean him all up, wipe down like the poop from his rolls and his balls and his scrotum and his asshole. Just like I have to like get into every crease and crevice of his dick.
Into places where you didn't think poop could get at that point.
Yeah. And then his legs have like massive rolls in them. So I have to go through each roll of his legs to get to scoop out the poop. And then I put handy oil and then put a diaper on him. And then I go back to my bed. And Noah was like, oh, thanks. Thanks for taking. And I was like, yeah, no problem. And that's the morning shift for me.
It's like you're just like marking up tallies. Yeah, no problem. Don't worry.
And then he started And then he still was crying. And then Noah got up and was like, what's going on? And it's really funny because he's still like tough coach. He still plays, he's just like the coach that's like I expect more from you. And he does that to our infant. And he's like,
I can't
what's
believe he's
going on?
shitting on himself.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on in here? And he starts laughing, and then he leaves. He starts crying. He comes back. He starts laughing, and I was like, he's being manipulative, and he wants to be in bed with us, which is like illegal in baby world. You're not supposed to have a kid in bed with you because you could roll over and crush them.
Oh, literally illegal. Like that. Like that's a health hazard.
Like,
it's a health hazard.
It's like there's nothing that's straight up illegal other than like trafficking.
Sure.
Yeah. And even then, if you have enough money, they'll turn the other way.
That's fair.
But I don't know exactly what's completely illegal to do to your kid, but there's like a laundry list. Probably I'm aware of like 100 different things that are considered incredibly not safe and frowned upon, including
trafficking,
sleeping on the stomach.
Right.
They're not allowed to sleep on their stomach.
I thought that was good for them.
It is good for them for digestion, but they can suffocate, and it's called SIDS.
Because they could barf and then like suffocate on. Yeah.
I think that's more Elvis Presley, but they could choke on their own barf after like shooting up heroin.
Well, you know, babies and women love needles. You know, like
yeah. And anyways, one of the things you're not supposed to do is sleep with your kid because you could crush them. But we let him nap with us in the morning.
Gotcha.
Because he won't shut the fuck up.
He's gonna have you guys wrapped around his finger.
Yeah, I guess. And I'm planning on putting him to work. Like I've been watching Kids Baking Championship, and these kids are like, "Oh my gosh, my pastry didn't come out the way I wanted," and they're like talking about, I don't know. I just want him to be like, I just want him in the kitchen. I don't know why, but I'm like, you're gonna cook us food.
And damn fine food.
Yeah. Or be a makeup artist so he can like contour me.
There you go. Now you're thinking.
I just want to help out. I was thinking he could be like camera person or like tech guy.
Sure.
Or he could host. How long do you think it'll take for him to host the Kibitz Room?
I bet you he could be, I mean, with a parental slip by 7, I bet you he could be.
Hi guys, how's it going? Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
you're
shut the fuck up, skaters.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, do you think you want to have 2 kids, or like obviously I know that it's early to ask that, and I'm sure everyone.
No, so a couple years, well, not even a couple years ago, I didn't even want any kids, and then Noah started making more money, and I was like,
maybe. I mean, at least you did it the right way. Like, can we afford this fucking baby? Okay.
I know. Yeah. It's like that because there's no promo code for kids.
So he needs another Emmy under his belt, and then maybe we'll talk.
Yeah. No. I at this point I am verbally saying I don't want any more kids because of like the strain on my body and my social life.
Yeah.
The strain on my social life is, and I got really, big. Now I'm trying to I have like back issues and a big belly, and it's just like kind of sucks because I used to have a tiny body, and now my body's different, and I'm supposed to like embrace it and not hate myself, but
I can imagine struggle is real. I mean, if it means anything, you look great.
Oh, thanks.
You really do.
My face has been fine. Like, luckily the baby doesn't wreck my face. Like, having a baby doesn't affect your face at all.
That's good.
It's everything below your neck.
Okay, gotcha.
That's been destroyed. And my vagina is intact because I had a C-section, in case you were worried.
I was not worried, but good to know, I guess.
Am I using my vagina? Nope. But it's fine. It's intact. And I don't know. I mean, I want 3 kids because that just seems like the right amount to do a play. But I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe he's just going to be, maybe it's one and done. Maybe Moses is my only baby.
Sure.
And then I'm like, and then some days I wake up and I'm like, I want a girl. And then I'm like, girls get raped. And then I'm like, oh, I want another kid. I don't know. So I go back and forth. But I think I'll have some more, just because just to be like, look what I can do, you know. Look what my body can do. Look what I can do. Look what I can do. And that's kind of a fun thing to produce, you know, of human life is kind of like probably the most miraculous thing I've ever done, other than my special 6 weeks after I gave birth.
Which we're definitely going to get into that too, because you've got a sweet resume under your belt.
My repertoire.
Your repertoire. And you know, I met you. I believe the first time we met was at Comedy Works in Denver. Is that correct? Or did we meet before?
I think we met in Bushwick because you were having Noah doing a promo.
Yes, that's true too. Yep, that's right. That's absolutely right. And then after that, you came to Comedy Works and you headlined Comedy Works. And then, but you, so yes, that's how we started. And I've known Noah, your husband, when he would come in and because he's from Colorado, so he would come in and out of Colorado, and I met him through there, and then things just all kind of came and blended together.
And his relationship with the Denver comedy scene is interesting because he so identified with coming up in Atlanta.
Right. Yes.
And so then his hometown Denver was kind of like, wait, am I part of the scene? But like, I guess he was. And then
everyone loves him, and I think that I think of him as an Atlanta comic, though. Like I pair him up with the Claytons and the Caleb Sinans and you know those guys that were starting in that time. I think Caleb started after Noah, though.
Sure, and I envy anyone who came up with like a cluster of people in a city that was nurturing to them.
Yeah. Where did you? So you were in Tampa. That's where you.
Unfortunately, I was born in Tampa, Florida.
Is that how long were you in Tampa? And is that where you started?
Yes, I was in Tampa for 18 years.
Jesus.
I was born there and raised there and graduated high school when I was 6. And then I went to New York immediately after.
Straight from Tampa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was a small town girl with big old dreams. And everyone in Tampa was like, are you going to be a Seminole or are you a Gator or a Knoll? That was the only question you were ever asked.
No one cares about the Hurricanes.
I'm a Gator, baby. I'm a Gator. Oh my gosh, chomp chomp. Are you a Knoll? I was like, how dare you ask that question? I am not a Knoll. I'm a big old Gator.
It's a good thing you're able to get out of your accent from growing up 18 years in Tampa.
Yeah.
Did you like Tampa? Because I know Tampa gets mixed reviews.
So I have a love-hate relationship with it because I do feel like it was a really good place to grow up, and like there was kind of it was a small town, but also it was like a little city, and it had the beach, but it also had like the port and like boats and stuff, and then it also had like I don't know, I hated it so much, and yet I'm starting to be very fond of Tampa. Not that I would ever move back, but I'm like growing to kind of like it. Now, the comedy scene, I think when the boom was going on and things, like there was like a lot of comedy happening in Florida and like Tampa. And then by the time I was like 16, 17 and wanted to start doing comedy, it was like there was the Tampa Improv in Ybor.
Yep, which is still there, which is a gorgeous space.
It's gorgeous, but like
weird.
Comedy doesn't necessarily work with gorgeous.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like women, it's like, oh my God, she's gorgeous. I'm like, doesn't mean she's funny. Just like, or a guy that's gorgeous, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you're funny. And then. Yeah, it's a gorgeous space, but I never felt nurtured there or anything. Like, I mean, I don't even know how to describe like the line of creatures that were waiting to like sign up for open mics. You know, it was just like
interesting.
It was just dirty.
So what
And
was?
then I did Side Splitters. I worked there.
Okay, and so
my
Side Splitters was there as well.
Yeah, and that was like in Carrollwood, which was 5 minutes away from my house.
Okay.
I was the door girl there. I would like answer the phones and I was like the host. And then I was hoping to also do stage time. So I was like watching 7 shows and they were all like Side Splitters shows. And then I was watching 7 shows. I was doing the mics and like trying to do other things and like trying to do stand up. And I was still in high school and it was weird. But I mean, it made sense to me. It was like the closest thing to culture that Tampa had.
Sure. You see, growing up in high school, did you want to, so I know this about you because I know you. Your dad did comedy for a little bit as well.
Yeah, he tried to be a comedian. And then he became a part owner of a comedy club in Tampa because he agreed to do their contracts. Like they were like getting into like legal issues and he was a lawyer, had graduated from law school, but really wanted to do stand up.
Yeah.
And law was his fallback.
Okay.
And so to this day, he says it's his fallback. And he's like, once he's established his practice and stuff and had 3 daughters and sent them all to college, then after that, he is ready to be a stand-up.
Aren't all your sisters done with college?
Yeah. He's ready to be a stand-up.
He's ready to do it now.
He wants to go back in it. Now is the time.
Did that affect you? Did that I assume that's what opened up your mind.
He brainwashed me. He totally brainwashed me. But I like for sure was like always making jokes, always like super funny at the dinner table. And I think it was like part of the way of just like distracting everyone from fighting.
Sure.
And
were your other sisters funny and performative like you were?
They were very funny and pretty
performative,
but their egos weren't as thirsty. Like my sisters were fine with just being funny. And I'm like, no,
I want everyone to know.
I want everyone to admit I'm funny. I want my name in lights. I want to be published. I want people to call me a comedian. And then, yeah, I guess that, yeah. But I think I developed my sense of humor to try to get attention from guys. When I was like in 6th or 7th grade, I remember like sitting next to the cute guy and he was like dating my friend, but I was like always being silly and making him laugh. And like, I don't know, like weirdly enough, it's like was a way to get attention from hot guys.
Interesting.
HotChristianGuys.com.
HotChristianGuys.com.
Is my son can you hear him?
Nope.
Okay, good. Because he's in like 2 feet away from me going.
I'll make sure to keep this part in so people know if they're like, what the fuck is that sound? Is someone over there?
He's practicing talking. He can't say words, but he can go. And I swear to God, when I say something funny, he smiles. Like he smiles at the right time.
That's a good kid. That's a good sidekick.
Which is better than 99.9% of the audiences that I'm used to.
Smart. So who were the comics that you liked? Like, did you like the comics your dad liked and that he gave to you? Or did you, like in high school, late middle school, were you like, oh, I love this person, or I used to watch the shit out of this
I think it was like, yeah, I think it was like he introduced me like Joan Rivers and Steve Martin, and that was like really cool. And then on my own, I found like George Carlin to be like amazing. But I remember being like in high school and listening to like Dane Cook's album, and like he was so cool with like playing whatever we wanted in the car and like watching Comedy Central and watching like Jesus is Magic. My dad was always like super encouraging everything. Like I watched Spaceballs when I was maybe like 6 or 7 years old, and we would watch it so many times.
That's the first from that movie. I got my mouth washed out with soap because the first swear word I said to my mom was "holy shit," which is what Barf said when they were shooting at him. And he looks out of the little RV thing. He's like, "Holy shit!" And so I go around the corner to my mom and yell that, and she just fucking grabbed me and soap in the mouth immediately. It was It was
My
brutal.
mom cursed like a sailor, and my dad was like, thought everything was so funny. And I was just like, okay. But then they caught me with alcohol on prom, and they freaked out. So their chill was like all over the place. I was like, wait a minute, you guys are so like chill. And then they weren't chill. They like picked exactly they were like very chill about like cursing and movies rated R and all that, and like encouraged me to be like loud and stuff. But then all of a sudden, alcohol, they were like so mean.
Weird. And do they drink like a lot currently, or just kind
My
of like every
mom
now and
has
then?
like a glass of wine, and my dad's like the weirdestly straight edge person in the whole world. And I've been trying to introduce my mom to edibles recently,
Yeah.
which has been going pretty well.
Oh, that's good. I've been trying to get my dad on edibles, and he's like, nah, I don't know. I've been trying to get my mom on him forever, but she just won't do it.
And you're like, you don't understand. You're going to feel so much better.
So much better.
And they're like, I don't know, because I've never done them, so I'm afraid of them.
Right. I've heard stories. I'm like,
I've
Mom,
always wanted to pitch a show called Dose Your Parents.
just a reality show of.
And you give them a bunch of edibles that they have no idea it's weed.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And you could do that with heroin. You can do that with coke.
I mean, ladies love needles. You know?
Exactly. Moms love needles. Moms choose needles.
Does your kid just laugh?
Yeah.
I feel like he does laugh at the good times.
He likes the needle jokes.
On cue.
Hold on. I'm going to.
Yep. There he is. Hi, sweet Moses.
What?
Hi, sweet little Moses.
I told you I am podcasting. What did I say? I also don't. I just want him to grow up and be like, my mother was such a beautiful movie star and television. She did all these things. My mother was so glamorous. And I'll be like,
I did this for you.
Oh, Moses, don't tell me how beautiful I am. Mother, you are so beautiful. Are you hungry? Great. You're ruining my career right now.
We know which one to blame this one on. This is not pandemic. This one is baby.
Really? My career's on the line. You need milk?
Fine, have milk. So Tampa, Joan Rivers. Oh, so then your first job then was at Side Splitters.
I mean, I also worked at Smoothie King.
Okay.
But yeah, Side Splitters was my first job, and Bobby Jewell was the owner, and he's this like, he had a wife and he had a girlfriend. He was
that sounds like 90s
sexist
comedy club.
as it gets.
Yeah.
He was like this like caricature 80s dude who was running a comedy club, like super old school. And so I thought that's just what it was, like, tough cookies, broad. I don't got female openers. And I was like, got it, no problem. And he would go do time, and one of his jokes was about like how much sperm he had in his ball sack, and I was just like, okay. But he would never did anything inappropriate or anything with me. He like respected me because my dad introduced me, and like my dad helped me get the job when I was like 16. But like people around me didn't treat me like I was a 16 or 17-year-old girl. They were just kind of like,
you're an adult and you're gonna like,
yeah, toots, welcome. And on New Year's they're like, you only allowed one drink. While I was working, they told me I was only allowed one drink. The Chippendales come like every year. The Chippendales come to Side Splitters, and they are a bunch of hot guys with body glitter.
Right.
And I remember just like going to the back office to like do something for my job and seeing like all these guys getting ready. And I remember just loving like being backstage, being on the like people coming up to me and being like, how many tickets were sold. Like, I love that. Like, I felt like I was friends with every comedian because I worked there and I was friends with them. And that, I don't know if it was true or not, but I used to notice the clientele. Like, Tampa's just a weird place. Maybe everywhere is the same way, but I was like 18 working there, gonna leave for college soon. And I was like, really noticed that, like, if there was like a white kind of rednecky guy, like 200, 300 people would show up and they were all rednecky and white. And when a black comic would be there, it was like 99% black.
Interesting.
And then Latin comedian, it was all thing. And then when a female comic was there, it would be like almost empty.
Shit. Well, I'm sure that the owner did. I'm sure the owner didn't help with any of that either. It's like, all right, I got this broad coming up the headline. I don't like women, but we got to do it.
It was Lynn Coplitz, and I fell in love with her. I was like, she was so funny, and she was like, she treated me like I was her little pal all weekend, because you're with them for 7 shows and stuff. And I was just like answering phones and doing tickets, but there was clearly like something, like I wanted to open for people and do that and this and do the open mics. And when I left Side Splitters, I had this horrible black and white headshot that I got because I was like, I need a headshot. Well, I'm 17. I need a headshot. So I had this like black and white headshot, and I signed it to Bobby and was like, you're going to want this one day, because he has all these headshots all over the place. And he was like, okay. And then, I mean, that was my way of being like, one day I'm going to come back and I'm going to be famous. And I've tried repeatedly to perform at Side Splitters, and they're like, we literally do not have females. Like, Jesus they Christ. Are spelling it out. They've spelled it out. And I'm like, it's not illegal to be like, we don't want women performing. But they like, basically, like, when I tell you, even Noah was performing there and they love him, and they're like, do you want a female? Like, who do you want to open? Or they don't ask him. And he was like, can I have her name? And as soon as he said her name, and it wasn't even about me, it was about another person of female gender. And they go, no, nope.
Wow.
But I remember feeling competitive with the people in Tampa, and not competitive, but like, I don't know, like there was only like a couple of spots. There's only like 3 guest spots of a weekend that you could ever get.
Sure.
And so I never had like a bunch of cronies that I was like coming up with. I was just like an oddly weird 18-year-old girl that was like, oh, I really want to do comedy. What? You hate women? I agree. But can I get a spot? Like, I was just trying to be so agreeable.
Oh, God. That actually sounds like a horrible place to start.
It's but I have to say, anytime someone says anything about another club, I'm like, I started at Side Splitters, so it's been downhill. Like, it's so much, everything is so much better. Like, if I came from San Francisco, where it's like progressive and cool and like nurturing, and like the way that they treat their comics is just crazy. And Denver, oh my God, Comedy Works. Like, fuck you guys who did Comedy Works and like got like whatever, like pats on the back and got paid and got spots, and no one ever looked you in the eyes and was like, suck my dick, sweetie. Like, the fact that doesn't happen is like a real treat for you.
It really is. And it did spoil it, like everyone says it, you get spoiled there. And if you try to leave, it's a real reality check. What majority of clubs are like, because there's those outliers, you have
the levels of support that you get at Denver Comedy Works is wild. Crazy to me.
It's wild.
Because you have an owner that cares.
Yep.
You have 2 different clubs with who are actively trying to nurture their people.
Yep. It's a pretty sweet, because it's the only big city within an 8-hour drive. Hey, Moses. No, he's going to burp up. Yeah. So yeah, no, it makes
His
it
dad
makes
is
it
at Chipotle right now. I'm so sorry.
getting some yellow peppers.
His dad is getting us burritos. So, of course, I'm stuck here. By the way, there's like a whole quotes and things out there saying that like a generation of women's careers are going to go down the drain because of this pandemic because like childcare falls on the mom.
Do you think that's true?
Absolutely.
You
Like
do?
if two people were working and now two people are working from home, the kid goes to the mom and the mom is trying to like help with Zoom and help with this and like not to mention so many people are losing their jobs, but
Yeah.
definitely moms. But anyways, the world is on fire
Yeah,
and
it
I
is.
thought I had it bad in Tampa, but I absolutely put up with any of the shit that was thrown at me. I just was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's like fuck it. Okay, you this is bad and I'm going to go with it.
Right. This
And then I
makes
went to
sense
New
though.
York, which was
That's
all
exactly
like
it. Yeah.
bullshit and hazing. And I was an NYU student, which I didn't know meant that I was a piece of fucking spoiled garbage can because I was an NYU student. And when I went to classes, everyone was like, blah, blah, Meryl Streep, did you see this play? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I came here to like do comedy. Like everyone was like, oh, yes, it's like a theater avant-garde art piece with colorblind casting and its Brechtian qualities are influenced by the director of this play. It's the theater of the round. And I was just like, uh-huh. So like I love Adam Sandler. And they were like, I was like, has anyone seen Spaceballs?
Me and my dad used to watch that every weekend.
Yeah, I was like, that's like the theater I wanted to do. That's not theater, that's movies. Okay, so I want to do movies.
I want to do that one
Um,
then.
and like I had an improv group, which we were so bad. Like all these people from NYU came out of NYU and like did SNL, and like the improv group I was in was just not that way. We were just the bad group.
You were
And
the
I
D
was like,
squad.
yeah, we were like a really awful improv group. And I was like so proud to be doing like improv shows
Yeah.
with my atrocious improv group. There
What was
was
the
a
name of the
good
group?
group. What?
What was the name of your improv group?
Oh, okay. So the group's name was Jessica. And I said it was because it was like a hot girl name. So it'd be very enticing. Be like, yeah, let's go see Jessica live. So we were called Jessica.
And no one came.
No one cared.
It's
No
like,
one
what the fuck
came.
is
No one thought it
Jessica
was
Live? Yeah.
no one thought it was clever or interesting. Everyone was just like, yeah, that group, I think they're called Jessica. Yeah, they sucked. Don't go to that show. And then I was like at Eastville doing mics and doing
I remember
mics at the
Eastville. Yeah,
pit
yeah,
and
yeah.
like just really trying to grind it out. And then I guess I kind of found people, but I've kind of always been more of a lone ranger than like part of a group.
Well, it makes sense hearing that, how your experience was at Side Splitters, and then going directly to New York. It just makes sense that you kind of had that, like, guard up because everyone's going to be throwing shit at you
Yeah.
constantly. That you're like, I can just do this on my own. Fuck you guys. I got this. That makes sense to me for sure.
I
Um,
didn't know, like, I didn't know. I wish someone had intercepted my fate and was like, well, I wanted to go to college in New York, but basically I wish that I had like a little incubator city like San Francisco or Denver. And if I
yeah,
could do it all over again, I would want to be in Chicago. Never, it's too cold. I would want to be in Denver or San Francisco just
yeah,
to get started.
yeah. That
And I wish that someone had come up to me and been like, 2020 will be a bad year.
Be prepared.
Wear a mask.
Be prepared. It's gonna suck. So how long were you doing mics and stuff like that before in New York? Because honestly, I always have said this. I can't imagine starting in New York or LA. But if you're gonna pick one, I think New York is the one to pick for sure, because New York is so comedy focused. You know what I mean? It's so much. We do stand up here, whereas you think about Los Angeles, and it is we do everything else here. So, how long in New York were you hammering at it before you felt like you had your foot in the door?
I still don't think that I have my foot in the door in New York. Like, I am still so intimidated by this town and the people here that are like my friends. I'm just like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't belong. Um, I went to school and then I decided I was going to graduate early
Okay.
and move to Los Angeles.
So you moved to LA after school.
Yes.
Got you. Okay, gotcha. And
And
then
to me, it was a way to separate myself because I think I may have made, I was open micing and doing whatever I could
turn your
along with.
mic the other way. Like turn it, flip it
Oh, yeah,
around.
duh.
There it
I was
is.
open micing and doing everything I could along with trying to do college and make friends in college and date addicts. And it was just not my, I just don't think that, like, I was doing good work, but I don't know. I really wanted to go to LA and kind of have like a clean slate and do something like these people didn't know me. And honestly, like, I don't know what I did wrong or right, but like starting at 16 and 17 just like opens doors for humiliation
Right.
if you're not like performing at the level like or people remember you a certain way, and it's like,
Yep.
yeah, you remember me when I was 17 and that's fucking sucks
Right.
because I was so much hotter now because I was maybe not as funny, or maybe I felt like I had more confidence but less skill, and now I have the skill and a lot less confidence.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's okay. So it kind of flipped. All right.
It's the confidence of a 17-year-old being like, I got this. Let me go on stage and entertain these people. I'm so
Sure.
funny. I'm
Sure.
so funny. And now I'm like at a dive bar being like, oh fuck.
God damn it. I know I can do
Yeah.
this, but
I
damn it, this isn't how
suck.
I want to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think with age comes a little more self-awareness. And I mean, yeah, I don't even know if it was difficult, if it's difficult to start comedy. Like, because I was 16 or 17, it's not hard to start anything
Nope,
when you're in
not at
high
all.
school.
And then you're
Someone's
just
like, do you
doing
want
it
to be in a
forever.
play?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want to go do a relay race? Yeah. Okay.
You want to go do comedy? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Right. So you moved to New York, and I would think that, I mean, and I know, kind of what happened after that, but I would have thought that that'd be a great move for you, because then you got 4 years or of doing it in New York, which is a comedy heavy town, and then you've already been doing it in for people in Tampa, which is a wide genre of people, if you will, and then you move.
It's a very diverse crowd of people with very low IQs.
That's, yeah, and a lot.
Just all kinds of low
Yes,
IQs.
yeah. I mean, it's Florida. It's Central
Well,
Florida.
I loved New York and I loved performing there, and the people, like, I was open micing with like, it was like Michelle Wolf and Dan St. Germain were at the
Nice.
open mic, and Mike Lawrence, and I mean Emma Willman, and all these, just all so many people, and like I was auditioning for these clubs and that clubs, like it was just this weird thing. So I took it very seriously, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna audition for Comic Strip Live now, and I'm gonna try to get up at Stand Up New York, and like, you know,
Yeah,
I did it. I was performing at every club, and I was performing at Caroline's a bunch, and I was doing like New Talent Night, which was actually a bringer show, which now I
sure.
like tell everyone advice is like, absolutely do not under any circumstance do a bringer show,
Yep. Uh-huh.
because people are just gonna use you because you can bring people. They could care less whether you're good or not. You're
Right.
just promoting
You're
and
making your
bringing
friends
people.
spend money there to watch six other terrible comedians,
Yeah,
and then you.
you should aspire to get paid to do comedy
Right.
and not pay to do it.
Right. And if you can bring people out at the, you should be the one making the money off of that. If
Yeah, and I've always said, like, it's better to do an open mic than to do
a
a
bringer
bringer
show,
show.
yeah,
But I did a couple, and I actually really liked them at Caroline's because I felt fancy.
yeah,
Because I was like, "Ooh, I'm doing Caroline's, come to my show," and then
right,
people came.
right,
And so I guess they was like, "Oh, I want to do this kind of show," and okay, so I was able to bring the people, and then I performed, and I felt really special because I was at Caroline's, but it
yeah,
was like so fake. But I got experience and
Still
got a
felt good.
tape.
Right.
I
Yeah.
got the tape I needed to like send to people for shows. So like
Yeah.
if there's a purpose involved in it, then it's like, oh yeah, I'll pay to play at this one really nice club and then get a tape. Unlike Comedy Works where they like hold your hand and give you blowjobs while you
You get a blowjob while you're
perform
on stage for the
every
first 2 minutes.
weekend.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. They've got a fluffer in the green room. It's just, the person's just there.
Yeah, must be nice. I was like, um, yeah. And looking back, I think, oh yeah, I just was grinding. I was doing mics. I was doing this. I was just going for it, and that's just part of the process is doing all this bullshit shows and open mics and bringers and learning that bringers aren't good and learning what mics are actually good mics and what producers to avoid.
Yeah. Are
All of
you
them.
are you glad yeah. Are you glad you had that 4 years in New York?
I think so because now I'm like, I just know New York. New York's not intimidating to me. It feels like my college town.
Yeah.
Like I love New York and I mean, the comedy scene is its own thing, but the city itself, I'm just so comfortable in. And
That's good.
I'm in
Yeah.
Brooklyn and I have this like, New York has always been like this boyfriend that's a little abusive, but the sex is really good.
Yeah.
He hits me, but the guy can fuck.
He hits me, but damn can he hit me though. Shit.
Yes, he hits me, but
But in
one
all
more
the
time.
right places and sometimes the wrong ones.
Yeah, and it's a totally abusive city. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have the physical strength to like go up and down the stairs of the subway and run to this show and run to that show and more stairs, a lot of
Yeah.
stairs. And I'm just tired even thinking about it.
15-minute walk to this train stop just to go 45 minutes and then you got to walk in between and then
Yeah,
you got
but
to
then
walk and then yeah.
the best nights I've had is I did a club spot and then I did another club spot. And I was
Nice.
like, yeah. And then I did like all of a sudden it's 10:30 and I've done two shows. And then I go to like this weird indie ulti thing and do a spot there and then like a late night show somewhere else. And now I'm like, oh, my night started at 8 and now I'm like, it's 2 a.m. I've done 4 spots. I'm gonna grab a drink or a piece of pizza, and then we go home.
Yeah. That's a magical New York night right there.
Yeah, and then that's why I like it. But now I feel like it doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, I mean it'll come back, but now I mean I don't think even when it does, I mean the 4 shows, 5 shows in a night that might be over. Who knows?
Or baby.
Or yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the baby thing.
Which one is ruining my life? Which one is ruining your life?
The game show. Will you find out?
Pandemic. Kid.
Yep,
That's kid.
yep. So when you moved to LA, how did it feel? Like, how did it go from there? It seems like it went pretty quick. Was Funny Girls like your first big deal, or did you have some small things leading up to that?
Funny Girls was my first big deal.
And that's the TV show you had that was based off of your show that now we run at Kibitz.
Yeah, it was so it was supposed to be like it was pitched as a docu-series about female comedians. Really cool idea to like follow female comedians around and like we were losing our shit and we were dating and we were struggling and we were not in great places. We were all in like eating shit in like bar shows and like there was like Yamanika was a little bit like 2 steps ahead cuz she had done some stuff, but
Yeah.
um I
Did
like
Yellow Peppers just walk in?
yes, I'm really
Yellow Peppers
excited.
just walked in. What's up, Noah?
I was talking about my food and stuff. Thank you so much. This is the life, baby. So we did the show and that was really good and that exactly coincided with doing Montreal. So it was like a
Oh,
perfect
wow.
storm
Oh, cool.
of like me becoming a really successful comedian. It took 5 more years.
Oh,
Um
Jesus Christ.
I was like, so this is it. This is my break. I have a TV show. I'm about to do Montreal. And like everything just kind of took longer than I wanted it to. And
Yeah.
then finally, many years later, I was like, okay, so no one's asked me to do a half hour. Like I submitted for all these things for late night, for half hour and
Sure.
specials. And like, it just wasn't happening. And I was like, what do I do? And then I like recorded an album, and that just felt like the right move at the right time to be like, I want to put this material out there. And luckily that was like the next resurgence of, I don't know, making money.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you shot that up in San Francisco, right? At what
Punchline.
was it in San Fran, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was like headlining a bunch probably when you met me after Funny
Yep.
Girls. I was like got that credit and like milked it, had an agent because I did Montreal. So I was just like, let's like just like put everything on my calendar, let's go. And so I was doing a lot of like headlining that, and I was loving it, and I was really was like, okay, this is my life, I'm so excited. But your TV credit kind of runs out.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
you only have a certain amount of time to like ride the wave of that one TV credit before you're, unless you have like a really big fan base.
Sure. Sure.
So I kind of let that run its
Expire, if you
course.
will. Right. Yeah.
It did a little bit, and then I was like stuck with like, what do I do? Funny enough, my skill level grew and grew because I do think that I just personally believe that people who kind of have a little bit of success and then they pop and now they're popular and they're feeling really good is horrible uh for their skill, their talent, their material.
Because they get comfortable, you think?
They get comfortable, they're
Yeah.
not pushed, they're not frustrated, they're just like coasting because like what they're doing works.
Right.
So then maybe they're doing a bunch of really fun shows,
Yeah.
which are fun, but the hellish shows are really what build your material and character.
And especially
Like,
your road skills. I mean, going into a room in Iowa that's not feeling your vibe, what are you going to do for the next 45 minutes? Like, you
absolutely.
got to be able to have that skill. That's a great point. Yeah.
I always feel like when you get like really comfortable and really happy is when like you're not getting better.
That's what Ben Kronberg told me. Is like, you got to leave. You're too comfortable in Denver.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then you got somehow. So I started running the kibitzer when I came to LA, and I like walked in and was like, I want to run a show at a Jewish deli. How fun. And they were like, no, we don't do comedy here. And I was like, oh, but you should, because you don't, they're like, yeah, well, we did it before and it didn't work out. And I was like, well, not with the way I run shows. I had never run a show. Oh, I've run like one show before in New York at the Pit.
You had a
So
little experience at Side Splitters, one at the Pit. You got this.
yeah, I was like, but I was just very confident. I don't know why. I was like, Jewish deli, like, ugh, I got this. And so I started running the show there, and it went really well. And that helped me be established, like be a cog in the world of stand up.
Yeah.
That's important to this. This is a big collage that made up LA comedy at the time. Like Holy Fuck was the big show.
Right.
And that was at Downtown Independent Theater. Like there was some really dope shows going on at the Virgil. So very east side.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, then there's the clubs. They were doing their thing.
Right.
Mostly just putting up Crystalia. And then
back then.
and then right smack in the middle of the clubs was like this diner that I felt like had so much like comedy history, because I like read the book I'm Dying Up Here, and like all the
Right.
old school comics would like hang out at Canner's, and it was just like it was the hangout spot. So I was like, how in the world is this not like a comedy spot? And so it was like so crystal clear in my mind. And I just started running the show there, and like really at the time I was single and I was living with my sister, and we just like went to different places that were like Jewish singles program, and like would invite everyone, and like really tried to be social and network in order to get people to come to my shows.
Yeah.
Now I have none of that left in me.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's for, being 23 or 24.
Right.
And then when like Funny Girls and all that, they were talking about like storylines and shit, because it's a reality show, which is super fake. But they were like, oh, the storyline is like Esther runs a show and like someone wants to do it. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Sure, whatever y'all want.
But I
Yeah.
wasn't shy. I would ask people to do my show. I would ask everyone. I asked everyone and everyone did it. Um, there's only one person that I've asked and that has not done it that I'm still like, why won't they do my show?
Do you want to tell us?
Sarah Silverman.
Oh, really? Why? That is a weird one. I would have assumed she would have done it. That's a good point.
I bet I just need to ask her a couple more times.
Let's get it
I
back up
think
and
I've asked
running, and
her.
they're like, Sarah, why don't you be the first one back? It'll be
I've
great.
asked her like 1,000 times, and I was like, "Well, we got Bill Burr." Like that was like the big thing for me. Like he like ran his show before that. But anyways, I also felt proud to be producing a show because I was giving, oh, I'm doing Conan tomorrow. Can I run my set? And I was like,
Yeah.
yes. And I felt like I always felt like I was providing people like a valuable service, which is stage time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I was providing myself a valuable service and I was
Yeah.
giving it to people that I believed in. And I just like, looking back, I'm really glad like 2013 I decided to like run a show because that's all you can do. That's
Yeah.
all that's in your hands is like make it happen
Yep.
by yourself.
Yep.
Find audience.
It, and
Go
and
socialize with dorks.
right. And that's how it's going to be, I think, especially now with this moving forward from the situation that we're all in. I think doing everything on your own really is the most unstoppable way to continue right now, because Hollywood can't do much right now. And then that's what you did. You did your own album up there, Hebrew School Dropout.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic album. How fun was that? Like was it nerve wracking to do it, or was it like, I'm just excited to get this done?
I was nervous because I only gave myself one shot
Oh
because
wow.
I basically thought about it like
Yeah.
this. I was like, I asked for a show at the Punchline, which I find to be like
It's a great
a
club.
big deal club, a
Yeah.
really beautiful, wonderful club. They gave me a date and I could have done two shows, but I was really nervous. I didn't have the confidence that I was going to be able to sell out two shows.
Sure.
And so I had the confidence that I was going to sell out one. And so I just did it. I did one show and I was like, it's just going to have to be this one show. And
Wow.
I have to give credit to my friend Dina Linder because she's a good friend of mine and she's like really helped me promote. She lives in San Francisco. And so like she's one of the reasons that it was a sold out show that I was able to. Yeah, because you can't record an album with like half full audience.
No,
You need
I've
the
I've
energy.
tried it. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I had a run of shows where I was trying to record an album, and the first show packed, like 280
Hmm.
people. It was great. And then the crowd mic fell over like within 2 minutes of being on stage, because I
Oh,
had knocked it over when I walked on stage. So then I hired someone to do it, and then each of the 3 nights afterwards just got less and less people, and then one of the crowds sucked, and then the one that was great had like 46 people. I'm like, fuck, this is brutal. So
there are some albums out there that that there's not a lot of people. Like there's not a lot of albums, but there's something really funny about a light crowd for album recording.
right.
I think Joe Zimmerman's album is a bit light and he
Okay.
makes jokes about it and
Yeah.
it's really funny, but I guess only Joe Zimmerman can like politely talk to a 25% full crowd, which is now the new, I mean,
That's the new norm
restaurants.
now. Yep.
Yeah, well, how great does that make me feel? I'm like, well, I could have sold it out, but it's illegal.
Yeah. So you did your album, and you released it, and then
And that
six.
was with Comedy Dynamics, which
Right.
was like a company that really,
You had wanted to be with.
yes, they it's just like relationships. I have to tell my friends like the number one thing that you should look for in a guy is that they like you.
Right. Right.
Very
It's
important.
kind of important, yeah. But relationships is so important in this
Yes, but I think
industry.
with comedy is like if you're going to work with someone, they need to like you.
Yeah.
Like your manager needs to kind of like you.
Because otherwise, why
And
are
you're
they there? They're not going to push
yeah.
you. They're going to push the ones they like.
I think he's hungry.
Makes total sense.
My son is starving.
Well, we will get through.
No, he's getting fed. He's getting
Okay.
fed.
I do want to ask though, because 6 weeks ago you did your. Was it 6 weeks now?
No, I was 6 weeks postpartum, so I was basically. Oh, I was basically. What was it? It was in July.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Like the first week of July, or maybe the second week of July, the
It was
8th, 9th, and
July.
10th, or something like that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you did that with Comedy Dynamics. So now you got an album with them, and you got a
Yeah.
special coming out with them. That was one of the first shows back in quarantine that happened. This was, to me, the first drive-in show I had seen anywhere of anyone do. Comedy Dynamics set it up. It was a 4-day thing that they paired with the with Tribeca, and
Yeah.
you were one of those nights. What was that? What was that like going from normal shows to a drive-in, a built drive-in theater? Was it weird?
I mean, everything about it was weird
Really?
from start to finish. So we had been in talks about doing the date in April, and I was
Right.
like, awesome. And I was like, so I moved to New York, moved back to New York in February. And at that point, I kind of knew my set that I was going to do for this special. And
Yeah.
or album, it was going to be a second album. Then they were like, it's going to be a special. And I was like, oh my God,
It's
great.
great. Yeah.
In April. So I was like, I messaged a bunch of people and just was like, first of all, it's so good to have an excuse to message people.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm doing a special. So I would love to do your show. And I was so excited, and I put all these dates on my calendar, and I was going to do a week at the Creek and
Nice.
get ready
Yeah.
for this special.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, canceled. Everything in the whole wide world was canceled.
Right.
And then I got an email saying they're not going to do the special. And I was like, okay. And I think I took it like a champ, because I was also like 8 months pregnant and was like about to do a special at 9 months pregnant, and was like, I guess I was proud about the way that I dealt with it. I was just like, okay, so I'm not going to do a special. I'll just have a baby. And I just was like,
or
fine.
baby? Pandemic
And
or
then
baby?
like right as I was like 1 week after my baby, they were like, we're rescheduling the special. And I remember being confused, and I was like, this is ridiculous. And they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. And I'm like, this is crazy. And then I just, up until the day that I was like performing, I was like, this is not gonna happen. Like, there's just no way. I do not believe you. Oh no, it's happening. No, it is not. And I did a handful of Zoom shows to prepare for it. And I started to like memorize it like it was a monologue. And like I worked with Noah, and he was like, I'll listen to it 100 times. But by the way, we were trying to like parent a newborn, and
A
I
lot
was
going
like,
on right there.
I
Yeah.
remember we went on a walk together, and he was like, if you want, you can just recite it to me. And so I started to like recite my hour.
Wow.
And the kid was screaming, and we were like, we just need to walk a little bit longer. He's fine. And I was trying to tell jokes over a shrieking baby to my husband and I was like, this is worse than the kibitz room. Like, it was one of those things where I felt like I was practicing. When I say like practice walking, like what are they like? You want to train going uphill, and so that when you're
Yeah.
on a flat surface,
Yeah, I know what. I can't think of it now, but
you
yeah.
want to train with like obstacles so that
Right.
you'll do a good job. So basically, I was doing Zoom shows, which are a nightmare.
Yeah.
One of my Zoom shows was only with 2 people.
Yikes.
But it was actually very good, because it was just Noah's sisters, and I was like performing to my sisters-in-laws. I just needed feedback.
Yeah.
You
just need to get it out. You need to say it. You need to hear it. Get the timing. Yeah.
And it was super tricky but I also understood pandemic, and also I didn't have to leave my house. So
Right.
that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I was pushing myself to try to do was to stand up
Oh, smart.
during
Yeah,
the
smart.
Zoom show.
Yeah.
because I feel like Zoom shows everyone sitting down. I was like getting really comfortable sitting down, but then I didn't want the first time that I record my special to be the first time that I stood up in like a month.
You're just
Um,
pacing. The camera's like, Jesus Christ, stay still.
yeah, I mean, I actually think I paced a little bit, but it was okay.
Yeah.
I was like so then I flew to LA and I threw in like a brand new joke the day of, which I was really excited about, and like still like really excited about the brand new joke that I threw in. And I did jokes about the hospital that I wouldn't have had I done the special when I was
Yeah.
pregnant. And I
Right.
wasn't, and I also was fearful that, okay, I'm going to do a pregnant special. And there's been so many women that do pregnant specials, but like, here's mine. And I kind of like that I did a postpartum pandemic drive-in special because now that is unique.
Yeah, it really is. Now, were they honking when they liked your jokes? Is that how it worked?
Yeah, it was almost like they just like developed their own language a little bit. Like there's because I watched the footage because during it they hooked up audio like microphones into a handful of cars.
Okay.
And that was being projected at me. So I actually got feedback.
Oh.
I've actually heard podcasts kind of chat about like, oh, how does anyone do a drive-in show where you don't even hear any laughs? And really, I got to hear the laughs because they used like these genius sound engineers, and I will give them all the credit. The sound engineers engineered this whole thing where I, the performer, was able to hear the
Them
laughter.
laughing in their car.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Not everyone, but like there was probably like 10 to 20 cars that were mic'd up.
Wow.
Plus, they were going to use that for this special, so you could have laughter.
Right. Wow. Comedy
And they
dynamics. Good work.
really, really good work. I was so impressed with them, and I just kept saying like, "Oh my god, I'm so impressed with them."
That's so cool.
And there
Wow.
was just like 200 cars, and I could only see a couple rows, and I made direct eye contact with someone that was like hitting a bong in their car, and I'm like, this is exactly what everyone has always wanted to do to watch
At a
comedy
comedy spot, yeah.
is hit a bong and have like 3 dogs in your cars with you. So there was a lot of dogs because why
Why
not?
not? Yeah.
And a lot of cars. And I was performing to cars. I told my mom that to practice, I was gonna just do comedy in front of empty parking lots, or like no full parking, like go to the
Go to
parking
the
lot and
grocery
practice.
store. Yeah.
Because I was like, how am I going to do it for cars? But I did have like, I was really nervous, totally had like a breakdown moment before I flew. And I was like looking at my husband in this newborn, and I was like, it should be illegal for someone who just had a baby to have to be on camera. And I was
Where's
so
my
upset.
contouring? I need
Yeah,
contouring.
I was contouring the hell out of like my arms, my legs. I drew in a skeleton body on top of my fat body. Um, and then I went to Nordstrom, and it was like pandemic Nordstrom. Everyone was like, "How can we help you? What are you looking for? What do you do?" I'm like, Nordstrom got thirsty,
It's about
and
time.
I got myself a pair of Spanx,
Ah.
and that's like it just like sucks in every part of your body and then molds it into a
A
thin
form.
stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just worked really nicely, and then I like shoved my body in a dress, and I was like, you know, the biggest my boobs have ever looked in my life. And it was like it was a fun ride. And then once I got on stage, I was very, very nervous. And then once I got on stage, I felt really good. And the cars were like I said something about Penthouse. Like I did a Penthouse thing, and I
Yeah.
made a joke about it. And then there was cars that were like honking for Penthouse. Like people were putting their lights on for certain jokes that resonated with them.
Yeah.
And it was like everyone created their own language of like car stuff,
Oh, that's fun.
which is really your brand.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that I did it because you're the car comic.
That's fun. Well, from what Anthony Fauci said, it seems like we're gonna be doing drive-ins for the next year, until the end of next year. It seems like, because even if there is a vaccine, he says that just the amount of time it's going to take for everybody to get it, it'll be till next year.
Okay, here's my question. Do you believe in science? I'm just joking. Oddly
God or
enough,
science? Which one do you believe in?
the one the one thing that we always had as an advantage at the kibitz room, one of the one things that I would promote to everyone, I would say that there was a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come to my show, there's parking.
And they're
And
like,
literally
ooh,
on the
that sounds nice.
flyer, on the original flyer, it just says free parking. Like, I was thinking about calling the show free parking because there was parking.
Comedy with
So,
free parking. That's just,
so
it's
my
just called that.
question is, can we do a kibitz room show
In the parking
in the
lot?
parking lot?
I don't see why we couldn't. I don't
There
foresee.
is that beautiful, confusing mural where like
Yep.
Jews and Native Americans are killing white people. So we love, I don't know what they're doing. It's the most confusing mural in
It's a
all of,
very odd one. Yeah.
I mean, the amount of times I've been so stoned staring at that mural being like, but what does it all mean?
It's like a magic eye. You're like, one day I'm going to get this.
I'm
One
going to make
day.
a movie based on that mural. And someone's going to be like, that mural doesn't exist, Esther.
I would think we could, but I would think Mark Cantor would be our biggest obstacle there. He's like, I don't know if I want to give up parking. But I don't, because I think all they have open is their counter,
I
right?
don't know that they have their counter open. Oh, like just to order food. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
You know what? It's weird because I'm in Brooklyn.
So yeah, but you could come out every week.
If I didn't have a kid, I could.
It's true.
I'm just joking. This is the game. This is my game. I mean, who cares about the pandemic? It's really
It's
the
the
kid.
child on this one.
Yeah. But I would like to see the Canner's Deli Kibitz Room situation like come out on
Parking lot
top
show.
because of our parking lot.
It's a good point. It's a good
But
point.
knowing you, I feel like you know of a couple parking lots.
I know a couple parking lots. I also have to go grab my gear from Arroyo, but then I'll have audio gear because I have that, but we've been using that for the Arroyo show, which is another big parking lot, but it's city
You
owned.
want to tune it up to the cars. Like the car has a radio station that you,
FM broadcast too.
yeah,
I've seen that. Is that how they did it at Comedy Dynamics too?
I believe so. I believe it. And
Interesting.
then they did a step and repeat
Oh wow.
with cars.
Stop it! Really?
I think, yeah, I mean, I wasn't like aware of it because I was just there. And it was at the Rose Bowl, which is really cool.
That's way cool. Yeah, that's way
I
cool.
mean, I feel really lucky, but it also just was like a haze. I was just like, wait, what?
Right.
Huh? I just had a baby. Oh, we're doing a special. And I'm like, I'm really proud of the fact that I just like got it done and I like how it came out. And then I also think the secret sauce, part of the secret sauce of that situation was most comedians in their brain would want to rehearse or perform, not rehearse. I had to rehearse like in my room, but
Sure.
like perform. You want to perform it 100 times before you film it.
Right.
So your 101st time is going to be on camera,
Right.
but you really lose some of your zest and excitement,
Because
possibly.
you've done it so much. Right.
Exactly. So I think some of the secret sauce was like one of the jokes was literally brand new. I had never said out loud. Half the jokes I had never said out loud in front of a live audience. And the other half were like, jokes I haven't told in a really long time. And I was like really, really, really excited to perform. The audio people were excited to be working. The makeup artist was so excited to be doing makeup.
Yeah.
People were so excited to be there. And now I feel like hopefully it gets on Netflix or Amazon or like someplace that everyone can stream it, because it should be one of the first specials that talks like I talk about the pandemic and I address
Right.
it.
I mean, to me, the marketability of this is like right now is perfect for that exact reason. I mean, it was the first of the pandemic. It's going to be the first one that should be available from the pandemic, I guess, with the exception of Chappelle's. But Chappelle's
Which
working
was
with
like a 24-minute
lecture.
speech.
Yeah, yeah. But it was
While he invited, while Louis C.K. was like giving him shoulder rubs.
yeah. Well, those were in later, I think, in later shows. But yeah, it was interesting to see him come back there. So Well, that's dope. And then you have Esther and Eric's one woman show, which is your live show that you do. How's that? Is that on hiatus now because you have to be?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And the question is, do we have to like rewrite a brand new show? Because a lot of it just doesn't seem
Doesn't seem like it'll work.
relevant
Yeah,
at all.
yeah.
Not that we're even given the opportunity. But then I was joking like we should do Eric and Esther's one woman Zoom show. But here's what I would like to do. I would like to figure out, I think I want to do this, but maybe I don't. But a Zoom play or a
Interesting.
Zoom show or a Zoom sketch, just somewhere where you take
You
like
play in
the
this
Zoom
platform.
drama
Yeah.
but make it funny, or a Zoom one woman show. All of it sounds terrible, but in my brain, like in the shower, I'm like, a play, yes, or a play reading, or a sketch where like a girl comes in and her husband's Zoom, and then she's like, oh, I'm breastfeeding. But I don't know that I have the energy to like execute it.
Well, I would think the best way to do that, if you were going to do it, would be kind of like how I do my Sunday show, in that anyone in the Zoom is part of the show, and then this gets broadcast to my website. So therefore, you don't have your audience in the Zoom mucking up the things you're trying to change for the play or the sketch or whatever the application is. Um,
Exactly.
so, and I can, if you ever want help with that, I'd be glad to show you how to do that.
I just want to be performing a play and have people chatting in a chat box about how much they don't like it. Like that's my comfort zone, is the chat box being like, I don't get it.
Oh man.
The plot sucks.
That's what you want, huh?
Yeah.
Just a little self-inflicted pain. If we could get that rebroadcast into the stream, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I need to write new jokes too.
I
And
think
I'm
we all
like,
do.
I like to write on stage in front of skater punks
Yeah.
after like half of a pickled juice vodka. After I've like had so much anxiety that no one's going to come to my bar show, and then all of a sudden
It's
like
full.
12 people show up,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden 30 people show up, but half of them are people that you're literally,
Please leave. It's like,
yeah,
what? Yeah.
you're like, I want people to come to my show, except all of the people that are disturbing the show. It's like, what's better, no audience or
A shitty audience.
like half an audience that
Yeah.
wants to fight you?
Yeah. Hey,
But
this
we've
is our
become
regular
friends.
spot. Yeah. Well,
It's been character building.
that it
And
has.
guess what? I'm fucking done with my character. My character
Is built.
thoroughly
Your character's built. Yeah, there you
my
go.
character is a sturdy house.
With a solid foundation. I think we're
Yeah,
good to
I'm
go.
like,
This is earthquake proof, this character.
exactly. Let's light this character on fire.
Just to weaken it a bit if we have to.
Yeah.
Well, Esther, damn, it was great to talk to you. I'm really glad that you came out and that things are going so well out there for the with you and the baby and in New
I
York.
like that you're like, there's like a screaming baby in the background. Really so nice that things are going so well.
It actually, the baby's not that bad. Trust
Okay.
me, I know a bad baby for 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 a little bit. So he's doing fantastic. Your album is
Thanks.
available for streaming right now,
Mm-hmm.
and that is Hebrew School Dropout. It's on
Mm-hmm.
Spotify, iTunes, I assume Amazon. I assume all of them. Is
Yeah.
that correct? Perfect.
Yes.
And then, do you have any plans, or is there any date announced that you can announce for the
No, there's
special?
nothing I can announce other than the title
Okay,
of
what's
my
the title?
special, which is Burning Bush.
Oh, that's great. That's great. That's a
Thank you.
great title. I love that.
Thank
Oh, that's
you.
fun.
That's
Perfect.
right. Thanks for having me. And then hopefully I can like email you soon being like, promote this to everyone you know.
I'd
Big
love
specials
to.
coming out. I'm hoping it's like I get an email on Monday being like, all right, it's going to a streaming service and I can get to promote it
That's gonna be great.
and feel good about myself again.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So
If our fans want to follow you, what's the ideal way to follow you?
Instagram,
Okay.
Ester.Steinberg, Twitter, I have been tweeting about the NBA lately.
Okay.
The halftime show thing that I don't care about. I've made it a contest to try to get my tweet shared by like Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay. Nice.
So there's Twitter, and then, friend me on Facebook, send me
Cool.
pictures of your kid.
Cool. That sounds
Yeah.
great. Right on.
Thanks for having me.
It was great
Hopefully
having
see
you.
you soon.
I cannot wait. I can't wait till you're back out here, and hopefully the next time you're here we'll
Share
have.
a bowl of stuffed cabbage
That's right.
or
Exactly.
3-day-old pickles.
Yeah, your favorite 3-day-old pickles. All right. Well, thank you, Esther. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And that's our show, everyone. Thank you so much for everyone who tuned in. Make sure that if you want to listen to this, you can check it out on any streaming platform that has podcasts. And if you're listening to this and you want to watch this, make sure you check us out at bouldercomedyshow.com/podcast. You can find all of our episodes right there in video, right there. Until next time, check out our merch store, support our show, support our project with some sweet Boulder Comedy Show merch. And otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday for an all-new podcast. Good night.